Hey everybody, John and April here again. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is your time. Go ahead and subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
All right, guys. Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place to level up your relationship. In today's episode, I'm married to a chauvinist.
Whoa, are you?
Maybe. And word of the day.
Wow. How you gonna take shots at the beginning of the episode? We haven't even started yet, man.
Well, you know, maybe. I don't know. Let's talk and see. You know, we'll find out as we're gonna discuss this.
We definitely gonna find out. How you doing?
I'm okay.
That's a lie. How are you actually doing?
Okay.
No, you're not.
You know, when people say okay or fine,
that you know they're lying.
just all right.
Yeah.
You know.
This has been a rough couple of days for this woman over here. She started back to in-person school. It ain't no joke. She called me the other day, but forget that. When she came back home from work, actually the first day wasn't too bad because her schedule on Mondays is kind of short. So she kind of thought, I think, this might not be as bad as I think. And then day two on Tuesday, woo!
Which is my long day.
Oh, yeah. She came home completely zonked, like literally no energy at all.
I went to bed. Like I got in the bed and took a nap.
Right.
I don't do that after work.
Right.
I don't do that.
Now, you know what I think is part of this too? I was thinking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. So what April does now is because she's working all day with people, she doesn't want to necessarily bring anything home. So first thing she does, go straight upstairs.
That's true. I didn't think about it.
Takes all her clothes and puts them in the washing machine and then gets in the shower. I think the shower. I definitely think the shower. I think sort of
is what I'm like. Why am I ready to go to bed?
Right, because I feel like you're already tired, but I feel like the shower just like sort of like Pavlovian.
I think
immediately you feel like, oh, it's time for bed.
I think that's exactly what happens.
It's like 4 in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what it is.
But you have to do that though. I like the fact that you're doing it that way.
I feel way more comfortable doing that. I do
better.
Not feel comfortable touching anyone, hugging anybody.
Right.
I need to go straight to the shower.
Now let me say this though. I didn't think this was gonna be a problem, but it does bother me a little bit. Somehow, when you get home from work and you like make a beeline and you don't like,
I know. I don't like it.
It doesn't
and the
feel,
kids are like, "Hi, mommy," and
right,
they ready to come hug you. I'm like, "No, guys can't touch." And they're like,
So it's like the natural thing that you want to do when you see somebody you can't really do. I guess it's the COVID thing anyway. You know, when we see people now, they be putting out their hand to shake your hand. You be like, So it's the same kind of thing. But it feels,
but at home, like it's harder.
I'm getting used to it. But the first couple of days, I didn't love the way it felt. It just doesn't. It feels like. I don't know.
I didn't like it either. And I did not like it.
Dissed, basically.
It does. It feels like I'm dissing.
Right.
And I don't like that.
Right.
But I also want to keep you safe.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to
put the clothes in the washing machine is better.
Exactly. Maybe you can blow us a kiss or something like that on your way upstairs. but don't blow it too hard because I don't want no COVID breath on me.
What?
You've been breathing all that
I got to
COVID.
take a shower. Then the COVID breath is gone after you take a shower?
Right,
okay.
exactly.
Okay,
well, you have to brush your teeth too.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about this subject. So last week, as you know, if you watched last week's episode, we talked about I'm married to a feminist. And in that episode, we kind of discovered together that April and I are both feminish.
Right.
We both, what we really were saying was we believe in the equality of the sexes.
Exactly.
And if feminism, if that's all it's about, then we're feminists. That's his bottom line.
If that's all what it's about. But I think it's changed over time.
And I think people have put things
changed
in it.
Right.
Yeah, there's different stuff.
I think feminism is about equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was a reaction from the beginning to chauvinism. So
it was.
We wanted to talk about chauvinism in the following week, which is why we're here.
Exactly.
And so the question is, do you actually think you're married to a chauvinist?
No, I don't think that you.
Think
you are
chauvinish.
Chauvinish.
Oh my goodness, do you really?
No, I did.
Okay.
I did think you were chauvinish when we first got married.
Okay.
But I don't think you're a chauvinist now.
Okay.
I don't think you're chauvinish, but sometimes I feel like you're chauvinish, even though I know you're not.
Right.
But sometimes I feel like you are.
Okay, now that's really what we need to talk about today because this is the aspect of this particular thing that I think we as men have to be careful about, and that is we have grown up in a chauvinist society, whether we want to believe it or not. It's true, right?
Yes.
We live in a male-dominated society. I think Women have made inroads. Women have made strides. We have become more aware of the equality of the sexes over the years, but that doesn't negate the fact that women grow up in a man's world.
That's right.
And so what ends up happening is some of the things that we believe and say out loud as men, we might not even recognize the chauvinist roots of them.
Exactly.
And so that's how your wife can know you're not a chauvinist and still feel you're being chauvinish when you're saying stuff.
Said.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Well said.
I'm glad you thought so. We didn't practice that
No, we
beforehand.
did not.
So here's the thing, though. This is my question to you, and this is where I really want to get to today because I think this is going to help men. Okay. The question is, I'll put it two ways. Is chauvinism and traditionalism the same? Put a different way.
Okay.
If I, as a man, prefer things that fall into what we think of as sort of traditional marriage sort of values,
Right.
does that automatically make me a chauvinist? That's the question.
Okay. I think that it can make a woman feel like you are a chauvinist or chauvinish.
Okay.
But I don't think we should put those two together.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair to do that.
Okay.
Because, their preferences and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to say.
All right.
There are times when, let's put it this way. There are some people who might have been brought up in a racist home.
Okay.
But then they grew up and they're like, I'm not racist.
Right.
And they aren't, probably.
Right.
But
they're not consciously being
racist, but they have racist tendencies.
Yes.
Because that's what they saw.
Yeah.
And they were raised in it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's almost like you have to fight against it.
You have to be deliberately anti-racist, like we talked about.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you have to say, this is the way I was raised. So I have to purposely keep it at the forefront of my mind when I am interacting with people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is how I feel about men.
Okay.
Some men.
Yes.
Who were raised in these traditional homes that, chauvinistic tendencies or behaviors were shown
or even encouraged,
encouraged, not on purpose,
right?
But it was encouraged, and it is in you,
right,
to have these ideas and feelings. And when you express, I want my wife to do this or whatever, it can come across as chauvinish.
Okay, so let's just stop for a second to make sure. Because last week, I think we did a pretty good job of explaining what we meant by feminish or feminist,
yes,
right?
I think so.
And why we had issues, stuff like that.
Exactly.
I think it's important. So I think the dictionary definition basically talks about male chauvinism as being a person of a particular sex feeling that their gender makes them automatically superior to the other gender.
Right.
That's basically what we're talking about here.
Exactly.
So when we say chauvinist, we mean a man who basically acts as though his maleness makes him superior to his partner who is female.
Right.
That's basically what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
Okay. So I agree that I think I have to be deliberate about making sure that when I act in certain ways that I'm not coming across as chauvinist, because I do think there are times when I automatically, because I grew up in this world, I automatically have a sort of favoritism towards men in terms of being more, especially in certain areas, right? So I think what happens for men like me is that we definitely don't feel comfortable with the idea that women are under men. But sometimes we feel comfortable with the idea that when it comes to particular things, that's a man's job or that's a man's role. And that's the kind of thing, or that's a woman's job, that's a woman's role. And of course, that can feel absolutely chauvinist, no question about it. And I think that's what you're referring to.
I am.
We're talking about at the beginning of our relationship.
Exactly. When you said, you didn't even say it, but you would show me with your attitude or whatever that you wanted me to do certain things that are considered women's jobs.
Okay.
And it annoyed me.
Right.
It irritated me because I'm like, I don't have to do that.
Right.
Why? I'm a feminist. So, I'm like, no, why can't you do it?
Right.
Why does it have to be me? Because I'm a woman. So you're going to tell me or you're going to insinuate that this is my job or this is something that I have to do.
Right.
So then I kind of, went against it because I was fighting for my rights.
Yes. Women's suffrage all over.
Exactly. Not realizing that it wasn't really about that.
Right.
And of course we didn't know, I'm telling you, I was just in my feminist thinking. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow this or whatever.
So here was the problem, though, and this is why I think we had so many issues for so long with this, is that I was not fully comfortable having a honest discussion about this because I felt like my wanting you to cook for me specifically, for instance. Everybody that knows me knows the way to my heart is through my stomach.
Yes.
I love to eat. I love when someone makes food for me because I'm also a acts of service person. So for me, my ultimate sort of push my buttons love language is if April makes food for me because I'm getting the acts of service plus the food in my stomach. Man, it's like, it's amazing. Okay.
Now, we did not have this language.
We did not.
Then.
We did not. So we didn't even know.
So we knew nothing about love languages. We didn't know anything about.
All I knew is what I wanted. And then when I didn't get it, I would get frustrated. And my response to April made her feel like automatically what I was saying was, woman, why aren't you in the kitchen?
Exactly.
But that wasn't what I was saying. But the reason I didn't say it well is because I felt like my wanting her to do that was chauvinist.
Right.
So just having the desire to want my wife to cook because I know traditionally that automatically is a woman's job, I felt like just wanting that was wrong. So I couldn't even express it the way I wanted to really express. So
it was not expressed in the right way, which made me totally against it.
Yes.
Like I didn't even want to do it.
Right.
Like, and then if I did it, I'm throwing the pot down like this and flinging the flinging the bread across.
I'm laughing because that's actually what was happening. You know
no,
what I'm
really.
saying?
Like I was not cooking there was no love in the meal.
And then something would happen. I would actually witness her cooking this way, and it would make me feel bad. So it was like this vicious cycle. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted this thing, but I didn't know how to ask for it. I felt bad even wanting it. Then the only way to get it, I had to guilt her into it because I wasn't actually saying what I really wanted. Now she's feeling like I'm a chauvinist and she's going in there doing it. And now I'm thinking, oh man, this is terrible. I feel like such a chauvinist. So honestly, the whole thing was bad.
Yes, it was.
And I wish somebody had just told me.
Exactly.
I wish somebody had said to me, which is why April and I, when we do our counseling, man, we tell our couples this stuff all the time. Let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of making your home exactly how you want it to be. As you want it. It's up to y'all.
It's your home.
And you got to throw away all the other stuff and not worry about that and just say, this is what I want. And don't be afraid to be honest about what it is you want. Now, it's possible that after you articulate what you want, you'll hear it and say, wow, that doesn't even sound like that's realistic. Right. And maybe you'll change your expectations after that.
Which is what happened with us because we realized we need to split this cooking thing.
That's right.
Because it's too much for one person.
Well,
in this house.
Too much for one person in our situation because we both work.
Yeah.
We're both working
full time. Why is it that one person should be doing all of something?
Exactly. So April is in charge of cooking in our home, but I take 2 days a week, and that's my responsibility.
And really, he takes like sometimes 2.5 or 3, depending.
Yeah. If it's a tough week and we know what's going on,
Saturday
I may take a
night
few more.
has been your night usually.
Yes.
So
the point is, though, neither of us have to walk in our relationship upset that she feels like I'm a chauvinist and I feel like I'm not getting anything I want, because we can actually be honest about it. But somebody had to release me. I'm not even sure a person did it for us. It may have been in some of our readings that we realized I needed to release myself from this idea that automatically, because I wanted something in a way that seemed like it fit traditional, that automatically makes me a chauvinist.
Right. And that's why we say that's your home.
That's right.
You decide together and not worry about what the world has taught us,
right,
or what your home, where you were brought up.
That's
because
right.
You could have been brought up in a home that was traditional,
yeah,
and you felt it was chauvinistic,
right?
But you didn't realize that it was the choices they made as a family, your family made, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, if you had a mother who was throwing them pots while she cooking,
then now what it probably was.
You might have been like, wait a minute, she don't want to do that.
She don't want to be doing that.
She don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to take this a little further.
Please take it a little further.
Because let's take it out of the whole, women's roles, the traditional roles that we've seen on TV and all that stuff. Okay. I want to take it to, there have been times when, let's say I come home from work, right? Mm-hmm. And you come home from work, whatever. Or you didn't go to work that day, or you went to work from home or whatever, right? And I go in to do my duties. I go in to cook food or whatever. And you are chilling on the couch watching TV.
Uh-huh.
I will have to admit, I'm admitting something.
Yes.
I sometimes felt like that was a little chauvinish.
Right. Because that fits the I Love Lucy.
That's it. Leave it to Beaver.
Leave it to Beaver.
You know.
Yeah. Ward Cleaver just sits down while June just takes care of everything.
She got the dust mop, all that stuff.
Right.
And you chilling. Like, I can't sit down for a second.
All right. So let me ask you this question.
Without a side eye.
Let me ask you this question.
You know?
Tell me what you would have wanted from me in those circumstances that would have made you, because let's just say that I've been working super duper hard and I finally get a day off and you just happen to catch me taking a rest. Is the issue that you just got home from your long day and you're seeing me do this? Or is it more of a, once I come home, I need you to basically hop to it and start doing things with me so that the two of us can feel together like we're in this together? Like, what is it?
No, I think I think I would have wanted. Yes, you did. Okay, no, but seriously, I think I would have wanted, because this is not just something that I would say was a day you had off or you had a long day. It would be, we both had hard days. You came home, I came home, you went and sat down.
Right.
And I had to go do this.
Right.
And you sat down and chilled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would resent that.
Yeah. Because we both had a long day.
Right. Why do you get to go sit down and relax while I am over there doing work, cleaning the kitchen, cooking or whatever?
Now tell me what happens now. Well, tell the audience what happens now.
We work together. We
sometimes I just say, hey, babe, why don't you go lay down?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So that's what I would have needed then.
That's what you really wanted.
And that's what we've learned,
yes,
over the years.
You wanted me to notice how difficult this is to carry and juggle two things and to just offer every so often, hey, why don't you take a nap? Why don't you sit down? Why don't you kick your feet up?
Yes.
That's what you wanted.
Right. Even if it's kick your feet up for a few minutes, don't worry about cooking right now.
Right.
You can wait or whatever. Or I'll give the kids a snack and, you know, when they were little, whatever.
Right.
I think just that consideration rather than it being, you just sit down.
Right.
There's no, matter of fact, the thing that got me was
there was
never a conversation.
Right.
It was just,
this is what we do.
This is what's going to happen because I'm superior.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what you were thinking.
Right.
I know that's not what you were thinking because you're not a chauvinist.
Right.
But I think that those were chauvinistic tendencies that made me resent the male.
Now, can I say something real quick? And I want to talk to the men right now.
Okay.
Men, what April just said doesn't sound fair. I know you're thinking right now, that's not really fair. I had a hard day. I'm just tired. I'm coming home. I'm chilling. It's not like I'm making a statement by doing this. I'm just tired. Well, here's the thing about our position as men. Because everything in life is bent toward us as men, it means that we don't have the luxury of taking actions like ones that I just did and it not having a consequence. We actually have to think a little bit more. We have to actually deliberately break ourselves from chauvinistic tendencies. And the reality is, April's right. April would have to probably ask, hey, babe, or at least suggest, hey, babe, I'm not going to cook right now. I'm going to go lay down. But the world that we live in never requires that I have to do that as a man.
Exactly. And that irritates me so much.
So my point is, men, here's the thing. And by the way, black men, you can understand this from a racial standpoint more than you can from a male standpoint. We as black people want for white people to be a little bit more deliberate in being anti-racist, right? We don't want them to just walk around with their privilege all the time and to just live in their privilege and not recognize it and notice it. It actually, we resent when white people don't even know that they're privileged.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Well, it's similar like this with men.
Right.
We experience a modicum of privilege. It's very small in comparison, but there is some privilege as compared to our wives when it comes to this idea of being male. There are some things that I never have to ask to do. I can just do it because in the world we've been given permission to, and a woman is expected to have to ask.
Now, what do you mean ask? Because are you talking about within the marriage?
I just mean within...
My feminism is rising right now.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
It is, because I don't ask.
That's not what I meant.
That's not, okay.
I'm talking now about what the world expects from men and women. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about us, me and you, April.
I'm just saying, because you said I would felt like I would have to ask if I could. But I see what you're saying. You're saying that I would feel like I needed to say.
You felt like you would need to actually express something that says, I'm not going to cook right now. I'm going to go lay down.
So this is what I have heard.
Okay. Please agree with that.
Okay. Yes.
And in the world that we live in this man's world, there is no obligation for me to do that.
Right.
That's all I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm just saying the world we live in. I'm not talking about you actually have to ask. That's not the conversation. That's not the situation in our home. Yes. Oh, y'all already know that. April doesn't have to make that clear again right now. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So the thing about it is we've talked about this with some friends.
We have.
And I remember hearing one particular male friend say, because she had the same, kind of complaint, like, I can never come home and just go sit down.
The wife said that.
The wife said that.
Yes.
And he said, why not? He was like, you a grown woman. Why you can't just go sit down? And she got upset.
Like, that's not the case in our home.
Exactly.
Why are you trying to act like that's how it is?
Like, if I just went and got into bed to take a nap, or if I just
Right.
went and watched something,
Yes.
you wouldn't look at me like, what are you doing?
Right.
And it's true. I feel like it would be a look like, are we having dinner? Or are we whatever? It's like, can I take 10 minutes, whatever?
Right.
She was saying that's not true. Her husband. And so I could hear males now.
Yeah. Just saying, go ahead. Why don't you just do it?
Why don't you just do it? Yeah. You grown, whatever.
Well, it's because if I do it, you're going to say something. Or you're going to act like something. Or you're going to side eye or something.
Something.
Right.
Or there is something. Now, I do believe this. It could be because you've said this to me before, like, babe, you can just go sit down, or you can just go do what you want to do. Why are you, whatever. But there is something called mother's guilt.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And this is why in our home, I've recognized this, and I've recognized
mommy
that.
Guilt.
Yeah, mommy guilt.
Yeah, mommy guilt.
I have recognized that April is fully infected with mommy guilt, and it's really hard for her to get rid of it. So what ends up happening is I have to give her like a break, a timeout, a leeway. I have to say to her, babe, it's okay for you to do this. And that's not me giving her permission. That's me saying, you don't have to feel guilty. And I say that to her all the time. I say, babe, you don't have to feel guilty about this. You need your time. Just take it.
I think that's what's important here.
Right.
The important thing is when you know that there is this chauvinistic way of being in our country, or whatever, from history. Yeah. And now it's not as bad.
Yeah.
It's not as
bad. But that
bad.
doesn't mean it's not there.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, because of that, I feel like husbands need to be intentional about saying, babe, even a babe, I got it.
Yeah.
Even I'll take, you come home from work, I'll take the baby so you can go do what you need to do. You can get you a little break. You can get you some alone time. And then, whatever. Yeah. I just feel like there has to be where the husband gives the wife, and I don't want to say permission because it's not an ask, but gives the wife permission to let go of the guilt.
And maybe,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, 100%.
Or takes it away.
And maybe we should use the word permission, because I actually believe that when we belong to each other, we have to give each other permission to do stuff. That is
true.
And so we don't want
to be okay with saying that word.
That's right. We don't want to use the word permission, because in this context, it makes it feel like a superiority thing again. Right. But that's not really what we're talking about. In the marriage context now, we belong to each other, and we have to give each other permission to be other than what society says we have to be.
Exactly, because I want to give you permission to be able to go out with your friends and to play golf and have some time to let off that stress, like
without feeling like I'm a chauvinist. Like I just left you at home with the kids and I going and having fun.
Or you feeling guilty, like I left her home with all that stuff that we have to do to get ready for the weekend or whatever.
You're exactly right. I need permission in that situation
too. And sometimes I have to say, babe,
better.
I am so okay with you going.
And you're right, babe. There were so many times back in the day where I couldn't even enjoy my round of golf because the whole time you were saying or doing something to make me feel like, why are you leaving me here with the kids?
And I was trying to tell him
that's
not what I was doing. I just was expressing that I had a hard time with the kids, but it wasn't so that you would feel.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
We need to do that too.
Anyway, yes.
We need to get to the word of the day.
Yes.
We're running on
the
a
word
show.
of the day.
What is it? You have it on your phone, I think.
The word of the day is eradicate.
Eradicate. Now this is important. What does eradicate mean?
Okay. Driving out or elimination of something that has established itself.
Wow. Okay, so we mean eradicate in two ways. First of all, men, you have to be deliberate about eradicating chauvinism in your relationship.
That's right.
And don't say you're not one. I feel like this is just like racism. it's really hard not to be a racist living in the United States because everything about the country is racist. So even if you're not actually trying to be racist, you probably have racist tendencies. Well, yes. I think it's the same thing with chauvinism. Mm-hmm. It's really tough not to have chauvinistic attitudes and tendencies as a man.
It's just you don't even know.
You don't even know.
You don't even know that it's there.
So you got to eradicate that joint. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
So the other eradicate that we want to talk about really is sort of like kind of digging out or rooting out something like where you uproot, say, the old foundation of something in order to build something new. Yes. It's like that kind of thing that you're doing.
Yeah. So eradicating the idea that traditionalism is automatically chauvinism.
Right.
And I'm saying in your home, if you want to have a traditional home, that's fine.
As long as you treat your spouse like your equal.
Exactly.
That's the point.
It's all about equality.
And the reality is, it's not equal if she's got to ask permission and you don't.
That's true. No.
Somebody's over somebody.
That's right. Somebody's over somebody.
Who do you ask permission to?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I believe that the husband can lead the home in equality,
yes.
Lead the home in, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Really submission, honestly.
Yeah, submission.
That's the word.
Giving up.
You know what I'm saying? That's the point.
That's really a true leader in the home.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like.
I agree. Yeah.
So men can take the torch on this
yes.
and be the ones to submit and
yes.
say, hey, I'm going to be the one to allow my wife to get rid of that mommy guilt or whatever guilt and say, hey, babe, go ahead, do what you need to do. And sometimes you have to verbally say it rather than sit on the couch and be like, you should have just sat down.
Right.
It doesn't work like that with women.
No, it doesn't.
Most women. I mean,
That's
some
right.
women, they're going to sit down and then you're going to have issues
right.
with
your
your spouse
later.
because y'all didn't
That's right.
talk about it.
That's
or you
right.
didn't have, and it's not everybody.
Right.
But from our experience and experience with other couples,
mm-hmm.
we know that this is an issue. And we want to free your home
yes.
from this chauvinistic attitude
or
beliefs.
Eradicate that joint. Get rid of it now.
Get rid of it
all the way.
Start fresh.
Yes. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. But
we
you got
have
to start.
done it.
You got to start by admitting that it is an issue in your relationship.
Yes, and we have done it over the years.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's still.
I think we're continuing
creeps
to do
its
it.
little head up.
It does.
It does.
I think we're continuing to do it.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
We get better every year.
We do.
Anyway.
Keep working at it.
Yeah. See y'all next time.
Bye, guys.